Hello, subjects. By the show of hands, how many of you gave me their Twitter permissions earlier this year? Oh, this is great. There's going to be a lot of people that hear it for the first time. Did the rest of you hear about Grid before? Amazing. So in this talk, I'm going to be explaining how the whole thing went on, how it started, why did we do it, and show you some funny details from that period. So let's find out how we got to this. It's mostly because of people who got their hands up. Thank you for making me a speaker this year. And let's learn how we made Slope, who after losing a lot of people's funds and not tweeting anything for 9 months, tweeted our Grid manifesto. It all started during what they call a shitcoin season, which if some of you didn't participate in them, how those few weeks usually look is you have 10, 15 new mints every day. There's going to be a Twitter account, minutes old, named by an animal or a fruit. They're going to say we're launching tonight. And then some groups are just going to go, oh, this one looks good. You have no idea why it looks good, but if 3 groups say it looks good, everybody just wants to throw money at it. And it's frustrating, and I feel very strongly about this kind of behavior and dynamic not really moving crypto forward and making people outside think we're just a bunch of degens in a casino. And it triggers me. And one of these evenings, somebody came to me and asked me, like, do you know this guy? I'm like, yeah, why? He's launching a token. I'm like, of course he is. And just before going to sleep, I decide to kind of make a joke on Twitter. I'm thinking, like, how do I tell to people, please stop being this way? How do I make it a bit funny? And I decide to tweet, are you guys ready for Grid? Thinking everybody's going to understand it's satire. It's intended to be like a social commentary. I, of course, said the 2 most generic engagement farming sentences afterward as everybody else launching a token. I go to sleep. I'm thinking tomorrow I'm going to wake up. People are going to be like, haha, yeah, you're right, we're probably... That's not really how it went. I woke up with tens of thousands of views on that tweet. And everybody was like, when's the token? How do I do this? All the DMs, everything is going crazy. And I'm thinking like, 50-50 was the worst I was hoping for. This was like one person sent me a message like, nice joke. Everybody else was all over my token. So now, if I go now and say, haha, I'm joking, 99% me, like, I'm the one who looking like a fool. So I'm like, how do I fix this now? Let me double down. Let's ask all these people to quote, retweet, and say, I'm doing it because of Grid. This has to make it clear, right? This is how they're going to understand. No. 500,000 views later, all of the messages, all of the retweets, the crazy engagement, these people now think I'm launching a token. I wake up the next day, by the way, with like 500 new followers, which was quite huge. I had only 2,500 followers before. This happens by the end of that day. And now I'm thinking, how do I play this out? Now saying, haha, I was joking, is even worse than this morning. I'm digging my own hole pretty much. This is not going great. This is not going the way I planned. How do we teach people something from this? And some ideas start going through my mind, and I find like a solution, I think, at that point, how we can make this good. Of course, I'm a bit afraid it's going to end up even worse, but let's try it out. I found 2 developers that managed to deliver a smart contract for this in 2 days, so on. Few days pass, this is going crazier. I'm somehow getting 30,000 more followers in the next 4 days. But I want to make sure that I make people who are going to participate in this really go through some more hoops. So even the day before, I say, now you need to quote, retweet, and say, my Grid is endless. I think this one ended with like 700,000 views. The engagement, like 30,000 people retweeted this. It was... Anyway, that day we tell them, okay, now it's time to go claim your Grid. We make a website. The guys show me the website that they prepared, and I'm like, can we make this look more shady? I want this to be clearly shady. I'm going to buy the domain we bought the domain gridconsumes.me. I'm like, this font is too nice, space this out a bit, like, there we go. Sign in with Twitter, connect your wallet, claim your tokens. That's it, right? But when they go to connect their Twitters, they get asked for full write permissions on their Twitter account. So if they allow us these permissions, we can do whatever we want with their Twitter. The second they click it, we can delete all of their Twitter history, do whatever we want. After they accept, and only if they accept, they can connect their wallets, claim their greed. When they do claim their greed, the wallet simulation fails. So if we wanted to drain every wallet that signed these transactions, we could have. They had no idea what they were signing. And now you're thinking how many people decided to go through all of this. Before that, step 4, we tell them to share this on Twitter. When they click that, we prepare a nice message. I'm so happy to be a part of the greed experiment. Good luck, Voshi. 35,000 people that day posted this tweet. Now, before I go into the numbers, I want to make sure to show you that during those, the whole thing lasted 5 to 6 days, right? 5 days since the first tweet until we say this is now open. I was making sure to post only the things that are showing to people that they should really, really not do this. So soft money tweets like, be aware of greed, just because your friends are jumping into something you shouldn't, I retweet that. The only utility of shitcoins is making the founder rich. I retweet that. I even write the cheat sheet for the shitcoin season, and I say, if you're not a founder, if you're not a bot, don't. Now, when we posted that website, when the people started signing it, people started coming angry on Twitter. Why are we asking for all of these permissions? Like, are you for real? Do you understand security concerns? I'm like, I do. Does everybody else? Are you serious? This is shady as hell. What's your response? My response is, are you greedy enough to do it? Like, these perms are a little excessive, don't you think? I do. Like, sounds great. By the end of the claim period, which lasted 24 hours, 55,311 Solana tokens had greed in them. We are the 35th, top 35 coined by distribution on Solana. Great success. All of those tokens are frozen, of course, in their accounts. There is an exact number of tokens, pretty specific, that we're going to go into a bit later, that each of these 55,000 holders has. After the claim period ends, I tweet, the claim period is now over, and it would be great if the subjects let us know how they feel about it, and we press play. We press play on posting the manifesto from 1,600 Twitter accounts. That's the number that Elon allows us to do with the API. We couldn't do more than that without paying $40,000. That's another story. And we press play. And the Twitter goes crazy. 1.6K accounts tweets the same thing. Some of the big names in the ecosystem do. The funniest, of course, being Slope. You could just imagine somebody from Slope, like after 8 months going, I'm going to make it all back in one trade, and just go. We changed the website to step 5, wear your badge of honor, explained that we could only push to some accounts. So please, the rest of subjects, do it yourself. I think there's always 20,000 people who even clicked this and tweeted it without reading it. It's crazy. So some numbers from that day. Over 300,000 page views in only 2 days. This is actually the chart of active addresses on Solana compared to Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Polygon during that day. You can see the spike. And then the same data analytics site decided to scrap interactions with the Greed smart contract the next day because it was a clear outlier. Those are the most used smart contracts on Solana down there, and that's Greed. So some numbers on Twitter. This was my very proud next morning after the first tweet screenshot. Look, I have 3,000 followers now. Amazing. Ended at 33,000 4 days later. The engagement numbers were just simply crazy on some of the tweets. I had 5 million impressions during those 6 days. greed was trending on Twitter, and I had like a lot of messages saying that. It was the top at one point with over 1 million tweets mentioning it in 24 hours. And I became the second on NFT Inspect on global reach. Thank you. After the whole thing happened, media outlets started reaching out, and everybody covered that. We have CoinDesk, CoinMarketCap, Binance, like everybody wrote about it. Even some local newspapers that I never heard of from Croatia started sending me DMs, like, can we interview? I'm like, this feels weird, please, no. So remember that exact number of tokens that we put in everybody's wallets? And it's frozen in there forever. Well, whoever Googles that number, they can find that's actually the hotline for the SEC. That's the number that you can call if you need investment advice. These people can never burn these tokens from their wallets. They can never remove them. This is one of the only Solana tokens with real utility. Like, they have some of the funny things that happened during the period before we opened the claims. I can say that I onboarded a lot of people on Solana. Friends start sending me messages like, I have ETH friends. They never touch Solana. They are asking me about this greed thing. I gave them, like, I showed them how to set up a wallet. We even had some ADA users or DADA user, I'm not sure. I had altogether in that week over 400 messages asking me about pre-sale. And this is like the first, I think, important lesson for everybody. I think almost nobody asked, what does the token do? What's the supply? People were just like, how much can I put in? And I think that's a big lesson about how just listening to the hype around you makes us all kind of sometimes feel we are sure about something. We definitely need to learn how to do some more research and approach things a bit more seriously. Some funny messages after that. People don't read, and it's crazy. Examples like this were like all over the place. Somebody tweets it, and then gets surprised about how this happened because he didn't even read the tweet that was tweeted through his account, and he's still surprised. No one read this shit. 3 clown emojis, clearly. I'm the clown. Who reads all this? Is he actually launching or no? Like, if there was only a way to find out, I don't know. Is it safe to revoke is another story. So people were kind of smart and then tweeting like, just go collect, read, then revoke. And we're like, that's stupid advice because if we were malicious, we could hurt you the second you connect. But then we topped it up the day before and said like, whoever revoked, if they don't give back the permissions, they're never going to get their tokens unfrozen. So people rushed back and gave them permissions. And this guy tweets this thing and then still goes, is it now safe to revoke? Then there was a lot of angry people that apparently expected to get something way more out of this. Some people with telling me I'm just stroking my own ego. Some long messages explaining to me how I'm clearly a rich American dude and why couldn't I make the poor dudes rich. Or just simple DMs with a simple FU. Now, going into the conclusions, I think privacy and security is quite clear. People were giving out their whole Twitter accounts for this. We need to be aware where we are giving out our privacy. Security, signing transactions that could have been anything, and like connecting to unknown sites. But I think the biggest lesson here was how the hype can go crazy. I had people who are my friends coming to tell me I didn't know this was you. I just heard about greed from the few groups. I clicked the link in some of the group connecting there. Like they had no idea. And it showed me that we really need to do better with understanding what we're investing, what we are throwing our money into. I was sure that a lot of people are going to forget this in 2 days. A few months later, I was so happy Friendtech came out. They were asking for right permissions, and I got tagged dozens of times per day saying, like, did Voshi teach us nothing? I was so happy because it seems like some people really remembered it. And I did get over 150 DMs afterwards telling me that they changed the way they approach things. There is an educational initiative that we thought of about how we can make these kind of people want to learn more. We are in contact currently with some people from the foundation. We're trying to make it happen, and I think it could be cool, so follow for more on that. And as I promised, the airdrop, yay, another NFT. I'm not going to drain your wallets just because we couldn't find a way to fix a simulation, but it's actually just the screenshot of the Slope tweet that you can all collect. So please scan this now, or I'll go back to that after my outro because my time is out. Thank you so much for listening. Please follow me. I did like 7,000 angry people didn't follow me after the whole thing. So please, let's make it all back in one trade. And please follow Blast Control, which is my agency. And if you have any questions, if we can help your project, reach out. Also, tokenomics is something we do, so if your project does actually want to launch a token, let's at least try to do it right. And there are my guys in red shirt if you have any questions there. And I have no time for Q&A, but I'm going to stick around. So if anybody has any more questions, please find me. I'm happy to answer them. The NFT is back. It's really not a rug. Thank you so much, guys.